and subscribe button as always. And let me know how you're doing and what you want to talk about. I do these streams every 1 p.m. and 1 a.m. We always talk about different things. Today, we're going to talk about travel for a couple of different reasons. There's some things going on. As it relates to travel, I want to talk about Masonic travel, or travel in general, is a very, very important part of Freemasonry and what Freemasonry is. Oh, we got Smokey in, I believe. How's it going? Oh, I'm sorry, a little bit frustrated. I hope everything is going okay. And I hope the frustration doesn't last for too long. Usually, I find frustration, as with everything in life, right? When you're in the moment, whatever's causing the frustration tends to seem very big. And then over time, it tends to seem very small. So, at least I hope that's the case, and I hope your frustrations do not continue. By the way, I hope everybody will take a moment. As always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're not going to be doing this for too much. This is going to be a great stream. We're going to talk about travel. We're going to talk about travel as it relates to Freemasonry, but more specifically, some travel things I've noticed in my neck of the woods, why I think those things are important, and some stories I've heard about travel. I think it's important. We as Freemasons, we kind of have to travel. Well, I guess we don't have to, but if we're not traveling, we are missing out on a major, major aspect of what makes Freemasonry so great, what makes Freemasonry so important. So I hope that we will remember the necessity of travel. And once more, thank you all for being here. Please take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button, and let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry. Positive, negative, or neutral. I'd love to hear it. And once we get to an hour in, we're going to switch over to our main topic, which is going to be travel, and some things I've noticed in Windsor, and some things I've noticed in general about travel that I think are very important, as well as general topics and discussions on Freemasonry. I may also discuss a little bit about official visits, what they are, how they work, why they're important, why they matter when it comes to our Masonic careers. But for now, let's give it a bit of time. Let's see who joins. Please, as always, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know how you're doing, and let me know if there is anything about Freemasonry you want to talk about. Actually, it's funny, Smokey, I just did a podcast or a live stream a few weeks ago talking about um, email and how email can be an absolute pain in the butt. From a Masonic perspective, people are getting tons of emails every day. How do they keep track of them? How do they make sure they work? How do they make sure they're not ending up in spam folders? Um, well, I hope your manager resends it and it's not an issue for you, though. But for now, it's just hanging out, waiting to see who joins and what it is you guys want to talk about. There's no rush. It's usually an hour or so in before we actually start on specific topics. So. And welcome to everybody just joining us. If you're new to the stream, jump in the chat, say hello, and let me know how it's going. If you're not new to the stream, you're a regular audience member, then please jump in the chat also and let me know how you're doing and what's new. Let me see. Go to all messages. Let's give it a bit of time. Let's see who joins. Mr. Keeps on Ticking. How's it going? Slavko? I mean, I can say hello to you. Hello. How's it going? I hope you're doing well. What is new, Mr. Keeps? With the able to use the CPAC machine again, I hope that you're doing well. Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer? I don't think so. I've never heard of that, but that'd be really cool. Nice. That's a decent amount. I mean, I was told that 8 hours is what it's supposed to be. I don't actually know where that comes from, if that's an official doctor said that or that just became kind of the accepted. It's kind of like for the longest time, I believed, 8 glasses of water a day is what you had to drink. And I found out afterwards that somebody just like kind of made that number up. You just got to drink enough water so you're hydrated. So your pee is clear, I was told. I'm doing well. We're here to chat about Freemasonry. And Dad, I know that you guys had an official visit. I know that it went well, or at least so you said, which is awesome. And I know you also have a fellowcraft degree. Wait, was your fellowcraft degree this week? Or was it like when was your fellowcraft degree? Dream Seeker, welcome back. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen you, but I remember you, I think. So it's good to have you back. And I think I remember you because when I see the term Dream Seeker, I think of Freddy Krueger. I'm very sorry, Slavko, about your sister. That sucks. Losing a family member is always incredibly challenging. So I'm very sorry to hear that happened. Okay, 23rd. For some reason, I thought it was this week. You're doing a piece of work in it, right? I hope that the studying for it is going well. Busy is good. Busy is good. I've been busy with this stream. I don't know if you've seen some of the stuff we have coming up, but obviously I've been mentioning it. On Friday, starting 8 a.m., we're going to have a stream. It's going to go basically 12 hours. We're going to be taking part in Medium Day 2025, which is all about written content online and how we as Freemasons, or just how people can best utilize written content when discussing whatever, when writing fiction or nonfiction. Just best utilize written content on social media and online. And so I'm going to be attending those courses But while I'm attending those courses, I'm going to be live streaming so I can share some of the info with my Masonic brothers and anybody in the audience. Then on Saturday, it's going to be a Insta Live, and then on Sunday, it's going to be a 24-hour live stream starting Sunday the 22nd at 2 p.m. and going through to, Sunday the 21st at 2 p.m. going through to Monday the 22nd at 2 p.m. That's good advice. 8 hours labor, 8 hours refreshment, 8 hours sleep. There's a Masonic lesson in there regarding our 24-inch gauge. So I think time management is definitely an incredibly important part of our Masonic understanding and what it means to be a Freemason. I may close my window in a second. We got some, I don't even know what that is. We got some boats and cars and stuff passing outside. But I do hope, as always, everybody is doing well. I hope you're having a great day. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Well, I know Smokey's working like 16 hours a day, or working very hard. We're going to give it a bit of time. We're going to see who joins. Once we get about an hour in, I'm going to start on the main topics today, which is going to be, as I discussed previously, travel and maybe some discussions on official visits, what they are, how they work, why they're important from a Masonic perspective. For me, no, it's not. One thing I am good at, though, is closing windows. I'll be back in just 1 second. So there we go. We all have certain skills. For me, it's closing windows. Thank you, Dream Seeker. I appreciate that. I'm going to do a few more of those. I haven't forgotten about them. There's been a bit of a pause. I hope that you'll, when you see them, maybe leave a comment on those shorts, telling me about why you like them. Hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, all that stuff would be, or hitting the like button and commenting on those shorts. That helps out majorly. And just as a general rule, the more people we get hitting the like and subscribe button and commenting on videos, the more they're seen, right? Ultimately, when it comes to social media, it is engagement that matters the most, I think. Did you have a favorite short, which I do appreciate, Smokey? Did you have a favorite item, Dream Seeker? 28, like a favorite item I was showing off in the shorts? Yes, I like that coin too. I've got a couple different coins. I've actually got a whole Ziploc bag full of coins. So I don't think you can retire quite yet, Smokey. I think you're still a little bit too young to be retiring. Uh, though, I mean, you can give it a shot if you want. I'll see what happens. And let's just give it a bit of time. Let's see who joins. Please hit that like and subscribe button. And then, yeah, we'll chat about Freemasonry. Anything you want to talk about when it comes to Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to hear it. We'll start on my main topic, like I said, about an hour in or so. It is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful day outside, by the way, here in Windsor. I should stream on my personal channel showing you guys how beautiful it is. Hope for the best, but expect the worst. That is very, very good advice, I think. Is there anything that you're hoping for? I guess other than retiring early. But anything in particular that you're hoping for or wishing for? Well, I will keep my best of luck, my best wishes for you here. Even what I'll do is I'll put some hearts in the stream so Smokey gets his $1 million. Maybe you'll settle for like 990,000. Or 950,000 maybe. That is true. Dad did serve 45 years of labor. How much of that was at CN, out of curiosity, Dad? Because I'm assuming when you say 45 years, you're counting your time on the boats and you're counting your time in England. That's true. Some people have to work from when they're really young. Especially depending on the family situation and all that jazz. I think much respect to everybody in the stream. So everybody watching though, I hope you're all doing well. Please hit the like and subscribe button. If you're new to the stream, we're here to chat about Freemasonry. So anything you want to talk about, please let me know. Positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to hear it. And then an hour in or so, we'll start on the main topics or main conversations. Okay, so 35 years at CN. That is awesome. And then 8 years in England and 2 years at sea. Is your, out of curiosity, the boat that you were, your boat, was everybody who worked there kind of from England? Did you get paid in pounds? Or did you have an international crew and did they all get paid in different currencies? Kind of like whatever the currency is of their home country. I get it, Smokey. I get it, and I'm wishing you nothing but the best. Hopefully, I know you said, like you said, you're starting a new job soon. I'm going to hope that that helps you out. And we're all thinking about you and looking forward to our live stream together, which again, I know will be dependent upon your schedule. So we'll figure it out. How has Freemasonry changed your life? And do you believe it has shaped you to be the best man it could be? Those are some really good questions, Dream Seeker. And those are tough ones to answer. See, I am less inclined to believe Freemasonry as something that has changed me. I'm more inclined to say that Freemasonry is something that has given me the opportunity to try to make the world a better place, right? I say Freemasonry is the belief that the world can be made better through the application of brotherly love, relief, and truth, or at least the world is worth trying to build into a better place through the application of brotherly love, relief, and truth. Um, and with that in mind, I think that's what Freemasonry has kind of given me an outlet to do. And there are many different ways one can try to make the world a better place. It's not exclusive to Freemasonry, right? Anything you do, if you try to do it well, uh, is something that can make the world a better place, I think. But Freemasonry is my way. Um, so it's changed my life in the sense that, I mean, in a million different ways, all of the people I've met that I would not have met otherwise, all of the trips I have taken that I would not have taken otherwise, all of the visits, like everything I've done that I would not have had the chance to do. This podcast is thanks to Freemasonry and all the people I met on this podcast, whether it be Smokey, whether it be Mr. Keeps, right? In some way, shape, or form, that is connected to Freemasonry. Um, I've learned historical facts and information about Freemasonry I would not have already known. I've felt closer to my father, closer to my grandfathers. Um, and so all of that stuff absolutely has changed my life, and I think changed my life for the better. That's not to say it hasn't come with challenges, right? Freemasonry is also a challenge. Anything you do, if you dedicate yourself to it and work really hard to do it, it is going to be a major challenge. It's like football. I mean, football is wonderful, but not every day is going to be great. When you lose the game, that's going to struggle. When you have 3-a-day practices, you're going to struggle. When you're, sore the next morning, that's a struggle. But it's worth it because it's about something bigger than yourself, or it's your job. At sea, your pay went into the bank, and when you needed money, you went into the ship's. I'm guessing that ship's purser was probably a very popular fellow. I'd be willing to believe. Thank you, Dream Seeker. I truly appreciate that. By the way, Dream Seeker, do you think you maybe mark on your calendar and join me for the 24-hour live stream starting Sunday, September 21st, and going to Monday, September 22nd? No, what movie is he doing? So then don't forget, Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Whenever I give times, it's always Eastern Standard. And you don't have to stay with me for the whole 24 hours, obviously. People need to sleep, whatever it is. But I hope that you will stick around with me for at least a little bit and hang out. I'm going to be talking about Masonic history. I'm going to be just chatting with people. It's going to be a fun time. I'll check it out I'll check it out for sure. I've been really impressed with Maven. He's done a lot of great work. So, I mean, he's kind of killing it in the YouTube space at the moment. And good for him. That's absolutely a credit to him and to his work. But no, good for Maven. It's funny how a lot of professional wrestlers are now finding, to their credit, a second life on YouTube. I wouldn't even say second life per se, but a second like a second career on YouTube. I mean, obviously, there's Maven, there's Stevie Richards, and then you have a lot of podcasts now, right? JBL, Bruce Pritchard, Jeff Jarrett. You were his 20th subscriber? That's pretty impressive, right? Um, that's a cool little bit of story. And that's one of the fun things about Freemasonry, geez. That's one of the really fun things about YouTube, right? Is that we all start with zero. We all start with zero. He is great. I mean, my favorite professional wrestler of all time is um, John Cena. This tattoo where it says the next one is based on John Cena because whenever someone asks John Cena his favorite match or favorite opponent, he'd always say the next one. I thought this was a really good idea. For me, my advice was whenever people ask my favorite Masonic moment, I always say the next one. So I don't yell at anybody, Christopher. I would never yell at anybody except when I get angry. Okay, the name, nice. I've got my name tag. I've shown it to people before, but I'll show it to you guys again. I'll be right back. Just give me 1 second. I'll show you my very cool name tag. This would be from, this is it here. It's magnetic, which actually I prefer magnetic name tags because that way they don't kind of ruin your suit. I got that when a guy called Art was our worshipful master way back in the day. Oh, where is that from? I've heard that expression before. That was from The Office, right? That was Creed's statement, if I recall correctly. I do not support the Charles Manson ideology. I do not know what the Charles Manson ideology was exactly, other than it seems pretty terrible. And I think it involved killing people, which seems very much opposed to. Um, yes, I mean, I think as a general rule, that's almost always true. You have way more fun being the follower when you don't have to make any of the decisions. However, the leader, at least for making all the decisions, gets the money. Um, well, I became a Mason in 2007. So I got the name tag. It would have been 2010, actually. It would have been when Art was in charge. But yeah, you got your name tag when I became a Mason in 2007, 2008. I became a Mason October 2007. All right, Smokey and Christopher, calm down, the both of you. I agree. It is unfortunate that there is these misconceptions. Christopher always calls it a cult, so I just accept it. I don't take it seriously. I think he's just kidding. But I mean, there is a lot of misconceptions um, between about Freemasonry, and that's true for a lot of different things, right? Hopefully, this stream helps people recognize and understand kind of what Freemasonry actually is, or at least what I hope it is, why it is I care about it, why I think it's important, why I think it matters, and why I hope it is around for a long time. Although whether it will be or not is a question. Um, I have no idea what that means at all. Soupy? I'm just going to call you SOO. But I still hope you hit the like and subscribe button. I hope everybody's doing well, and thank you for joining. Another half hour, we'll start on my main topics, travel, and then maybe some stuff about official visits. But please hit like, please hit subscribe. It's always an interesting stream. That's what makes it fun. By the way, Alonzo, how's it going? I hope your day is going well. I hope that you will hit that like button if you've not done so yet. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I'm very handsome, so I take after you in looks, if nothing else. But I hope that your day is. I'm doing well. Don't forget, Alonso, I have a lot of fun things coming up, including the next 24-hour stream will be Sunday, September 21st at 2 p.m. Also, Friday, this coming Friday at 8 a.m., I have a 12-hour stream. Basically, I'm going to be streaming while watching Medium Day 2025. So that's going to be really fun as well. I've done it in the past. On my personal channel, youtube.com/Cameron Adamson. Um, and I may do another one because I love scary movies. I love horror movies. I love spooky things. And so doing a Halloween stream watching scary movies would probably make a lot of sense, um, to be honest. And it'd be a lot of fun. So I may honestly do that on my personal channel. I mean, I could do Masonic ghost stories. That could be a lot of fun. Would you recommend any movies to watch on Halloween? I mean, the obvious suggestion is Halloween, the OG from 2000 and 2000, the OG from 1978 would be really cool. All right, Smokey, no worries. Go relax. I don't think you're snapping, but still, go relax. It'll be fine. That could be a fun one. What would you say is your favorite classic horror movie, if you had to pick? Do you have a favorite old silent movie? Okay, the original. See, for me, my favorite horror movie, my favorite of the Nightmare on Elm Street. My favorite horror franchise is Nightmare on Elm Street. My favorite scary movie is Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and Nightmare on Elm Street 5. Uh, that's one of my favorite franchise. And then from there, I really do like Friday the 13th, Halloween, Hellraiser. I love them all. For me, the best Friday the 13th is part 6, Jason Lives, followed by part 3, which is the Jason in 3D. That's also the one where Jason gets his hockey mask, and an interesting side note. Phantom of the Opera is great also. I have not. I mean, I guess it makes sense. They both have claws, right? So since they both have claws, I guess it makes sense that they both would be rap battling each other. Who won the rap battle? I'll check it out. I mean, like I said, that can make sense. They both are rocking out the claws as weapons. They're both icons, though in very different fields. Oh, I got to disagree with you there, Dream Seeker. Halloween H2O was awesome. Right, Halloween H2O generally was a terrific and awesome uh, film. I mean, I like them all. I'm one of those people who my position is every single one of them is good in a different way. Like I even the classic dislike movies like Halloween Part 5 or Halloween Resurrection. I just watched that last night. Or even um, what's the other, like Halloween's Rob Zombie or Rob Zombie's Halloween's. I love them all. I think they're great. So I'm not one who's going to knock any of those films. I think they're all awesome. And they're all great in different ways. But I did really enjoy Halloween H2O. One of the few Halloween movies, actually, I'm just thinking this in my head, with the exception, obviously, of Halloween 3. I think it's the one Halloween film to take place outside of Haddonfield, which I thought was smart. To actually set it in a new setting. It was a California boarding school. I think made a lot of sense. Really helped kind of, I think, give new life to the series. So yeah, I enjoyed Halloween H2O. I'm gonna make a poll question now, and then I gotta run to the washroom, and then we're gonna, in another 20 minutes or so, start the main topic. It's funny, I don't know where I got my horror movie love from. It definitely wasn't my mom or my dad. I don't know anybody in my family, the grandparents who liked scary movies. I was the exception. Who knows where it came from? I mean, what everybody should be saying to that is my podcast and my stream. That's what you should want to watch. All right. All right, let's see what people have to say. Obviously, not everybody on this stream is a Freemason, so I made it Masonic or just general travel, both of which are fine. I think it's genetic. I think there's probably some great relative of mine, great grandfather, who loved scary things, and I just happened to get, it was a recessive gene. I just happened to get it. We've got, let's see, overseas, international, within the city. So yeah, so dad is overseas, international. It's funny because everything is contextual, right? When I say overseas, international, I mean technically me traveling to Michigan to take part in a Masonic event would be traveling internationally. Yet it's closer for me to travel to Detroit Masonic Temple than it would be to travel to London, Ontario, which is in my province. So it's all contextual. Sanjeet, Gianni, well, I'm not sad. I'm happy to be here. But if you want to make me even happier than I am now, then Sanjeet, you will hit the like button and you will hit the subscribe button. And I hope that you are doing well. And thank you for being here. And you'll answer my poll question. As Smokey said, please like and subscribe. It would be much appreciated. And let me know, Sanjeet, if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry, any ideas, positive, negative, or neutral, any thoughts, any comments. I'd love to hear them. Windsor's a great city. I love it. Windsor's one of the, I was born and raised in Winnipeg, and I love Winnipeg, but I lived in Windsor since 2006. I love Windsor. I think we as Freemasons should be, what's the word? We should be respectful of, or not even respectful, that's not the right term. We should be cheerleaders for the cities and communities and countries in which we live. We should want to be relevant in them and support them and champion them. So I love Windsor. I think it's an incredible city. Not just, I mean, part of it is its proximity to everywhere else. Like it's 4 hours from Toronto. It's about 5 hours from Chicago. It's right next to Detroit. It's like 8 hours to London, or 8 hours to New York, or 8 hours to Ottawa. It's like 2 hours from London, Ontario. It's a centrally located kind of city in a lot of ways. It has obviously Detroit there once again, which is an incredible city also. It's got a beautiful waterfront. It's relatively inexpensive. It's got very cool people. It's got a lot of history and culture. It's just a really cool spot, so I love it. You are right. It is absolutely beautiful today. Let's look at my window right now. The sky is blue. It's not crazy hot, but it's also not freezing. It's just good temperature. So we want to really enjoy days like today, because pretty soon we're all going to be either freezing or complaining about the cold or complaining about the snow. I thought you were down south, Smokey. Where are you located? The other thing, Dream Seeker, to keep in mind is, as I wait another 15 minutes before I'm going to start my main topic, on the upcoming 24-hour live stream, every couple hours, I'm going to be giving away a free Patreon Tier 1 membership. I'm going to be giving a gift membership away. So if you are either a free member or you are at like a paid, or if you're a free member or not a member at all, you can get a free gifted 1 month membership. Oh, that's right, Appleton. I remember that. I don't know why you told me that. For some reason, I had Georgia on my mind, as the song goes. Um, I mean, it is. I really like Ray Charles. I love, like, I think I said this quote yesterday. Uh, Nietzsche said, without music, life would be a mistake. And I would absolutely agree with that. Dennis, hello. How's it going? I hope you're doing well. I hope you'll hit that like button if you're not done so yet, and let me know how your day is going. Awesome. We can buy one anyways, Dream Seeker. Don't forget, I'll be gifting away the tier one memberships. But if you go up and you purchase a greater membership, you get more stuff. But patreon.com/square and compass. That's where you go. Patreon.com/square and compass. Or just wait until Sunday and see if you win a free membership. The way you do it is if you're watching every couple hours, I will ask everybody who's on the stream for their name. Uh, if you put your name in the stream, or at least I'll use the screen name. Will count. I'll take everybody's screen name who's watching at that moment. I'll put it in a draw, and then we'll draw a name, and whichever screen name gets it, send me an email. We'll go from there. Hey, the free one's fine. The free one helps out big time. It absolutely helps out big time. 54 seconds ago, Federal Reserve cuts key rate by quarter point and signals 2 more cuts by year end. Here it is. Fed expected to announce first rate cut in 9 months. What do you mean TF just happened? Is my stream cutting out? I'm just giving it a couple more seconds. I'm just waiting to see who else joins. Like I said, about an hour and 12 minutes from now, give or take, we'll be talking about the main subjects, travel, um, and official visits. What an official visit is. I'm assuming that every civic organization probably has some version of an official visit, including Knights of Columbus, the Elks, the Odd Fellows, any civic organization that has any type of leadership um, outside of the group itself will have some type of official visit, right? Because you need a chance for leadership um, to kind of examine how the lodge is doing, both in terms of its ritual work and its administrative work. And that would be true for any civic organization. Did anybody else have a screen glitch, or is that on Smokey's end? Let me know if anybody else had a screen glitch. I'd love to hear it. I'm always trying to pay attention to know, like, the technical aspects of this stream, if it's going well, if it's going poorly, if I think it can go better. This is a constant state of improvement, right? That's the most important thing, is we're always trying to improve these streams somehow. Okay, so I'm sure Knights of Columbus has something similar. I don't know about like Elks. I'm sure Moose has something similar because they have national or like local represent governance. Um, um, but I don't know. Anyways, my suspicion is a lot of civic groups have something like that. Patreon, Mr. Keeps. He's talking about the Patreon memberships. Yeah, no, I assume. Yeah, I'm talking about Knights of Columbus, and like I said, Knights of Columbus. Um, again, civic organizations like the Moose, the Elks, even civil organizations have a similar thing of like, the management is coming to check on how you're doing, so shape up kind of thing, which is what an official visit is. Firaj is back. Welcome back, Firaj. Thank you for being here. I hope everybody who is just joining us is doing well. Please take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button. And the hearts. Thank you, Faraj, for your hearts in the comment. I don't know what that flag is next to it, though. If anybody knows if that flag is something I should recognize, I see 3 hearts and 3 green flags with like a red dot in the middle. I'm checking this out. Green flag. Oh, Bangladesh. Okay. So, Faraj, I'm guessing you're from Bangladesh. How was the car show? Oh, so apparently the official language in Bangladesh is Bengali. That's cool. I did not know that. Or Bangla, I guess. That's really cool. Let's see if I'm getting this right. Faraj, if I got that correct, please let me know if that looks right. I mean, if not me, it's YouTube. It's Google Translate. We need rituals, right? I mean, those things are incredibly important. I think when I talk about why it is that, I've said it before. For me, the purpose of ritual is to create bonds of friendship through, or bonds of brotherhood, even through shared experiences. If you're not taking a ritual seriously, there is a real danger that by not taking it seriously, you are impacting the ability of the lodge to function well, or you're impacting the ability of the organization to maintain the bonds of brotherhood that will see it through the challenging times. I'm glad the children enjoyed it. I'm glad you had a great time. Very awesome to win some car shows. Let's give it a few more minutes. Let's see who's going to join. 5 more minutes, I guess. Then I'll start talking about my main topics today. See, I've never been a big car guy, so I can't say. Like, I wish I could, but I can't say. I've never been a big car fella, one way or the other. I never really got into them. Don't even have a car. right? For me, I'm perfectly fine taking the bus or taking the bus or a plane or a train or an automobile. I guess it was a 69. All right, here's what I think I'm gonna do. I am going to uh, leave you guys in the very capable hands for just 1 second of my co-host. I'll even try to get some of the hair off of him for you. All right, I'm gonna leave you guys in the capable care of my co-host. Welcome, Leonardo. Good to have you back. I'll be back in just one moment. I just have to run to the washroom, but I promise I'll be back soon. This is my co-host. Be nice to him. Be back in a second. All right, I'm back. I hope you guys were nice to my co-host. Um, my dog looked nervous. My co-host looked nervous. He's fine. Leonardo, how's it going, by the way? I hope you're doing well. 37 kilometers from Lodge, Leonardo. That is, I mean, good for you for making it. That's very good. And it goes to show, right? If you really care about something, you can make the time and get the time and set the time to do it. Yeah, I never heard of this. I'm curious. I'm gonna look this up. Hold on just 1 second. Flying car crash, China. Flying cars crash into each other at air show in China. I hope nobody was injured or nobody was driving them. I hope they were remote controlled. Two flying cars crashed into each other at a rehearsal for an air show in China, which was meant to be a showcase for the technology. He is cool. Do you mean this co-host, or do you mean Igor, who'll be back on? People at the scene were safe. One person was injured in the crash. Okay, so long as nobody was hurt, that's what matters, and that's the most important thing. Right? I feel like flying cars, really, that's just like a, um, wouldn't that just be like a helicopter with wheels? Like we already have flying things that are about the size of cars. The problem is just the physics involved in lifting them up and keeping them in the air and keeping them at, a certain good height. And they're so unwieldy and wind and stuff. Yeah, I agree. I think the little guy's better than Igor too. If I had to pick, I'd pick the little guy over Igor. So take that, Igor. I hope you can live with that. All right, so I did want to talk about travel a bit more, particularly some things that are happening with travel that I'm very excited about. I think a lot of people prefer tires in a road, especially after hearing about what just happened in China. But again, in fairness, there is no technology that is not that is perfect, that it does not struggle. In the history of everything that works, there was a time when it did not work, and I think we need to keep that in mind. I do not even know what kind of driver's license. I'm assuming you'd have classes, right? A class, four tires on the ground. B class, trucks. C class, trucks that are even bigger, like big rigs. And then maybe like F class would be flying class. So I did want to mention, if there is anybody on this stream from Windsor, I know we have a few. I am a Freemason in a border town. Being a Freemason in a border town, as you also see in Seattle to Vancouver, as you see in the Maritimes, as you see in many countries around the world, flying class, no doubt. When you are a Mason in a border town, it gives you the opportunity to travel more often than you would otherwise and take part in international Freemasonry. It's one of the greatest gifts of being a Freemason in Windsor is we have the Detroit Masonic Temple right across the river. And that is something that I think is really, really special, and sometimes we as Freemasons take it for granted. The city of Windsor operated a tunnel bus service, which was an incredible service. Basically, every hour there was a bus that would take you to and from Detroit. It was public transit. You need to have your passport with you, obviously, but it was not nearly as expensive as, heavens forbid, taking a taxi or other privately owned services. For many reasons, that service ended approximately 3 weeks ago, which did make it more challenging to cross the border. Welcome back, Dream Lab Canada. Well, don't get that type of license, Dad. However, luckily, we have something stepping in. I just wanted to take a moment to mention it. It's called The Link, the LINQ, The Link, Windsor Detroit Transporter. It should be, according to the news reports I've read, starting next week. So I guess starting the week of the 22nd, the week of my birthday. It's almost like they're giving me a birthday gift. The schedule is currently under construction, but the plan right now is every hour on the hour. Let me just actually get the exact schedule for people. This was from CTV News 21 hours ago. Monday to Thursday, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. on the hour. Fridays and Saturdays, 6 a.m. until 12 a.m. Sundays, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And I'm assuming holiday hours are also 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. though it doesn't say for sure. But it'll be regular schedule, 7 days a week. The route starts at the intersection of Chatham Street and Victoria Avenue, crosses the Windsor-Detroit Tunnel, and arrives in Detroit, servicing Jefferson Avenue, Washington Boulevard, and Rosa Parks Transit Center. And then it returns to Chatham and Victoria Avenue. So basically, the Windsor International bus terminal. It does poke. I hope that you will be one more in that number of subs. I truly appreciate it. The fares are going to be $15 per person for one way. And this is something I really like. The payment method is cashless. So you pay with debit or credit card, as opposed to, for me, one of the pains in the asses is the Windsor Transit tunnel bus. You could not pay in cash. Or sorry, you could not pay with credit or debit. You had to pay in cash. I almost never carry cash. And if I forgot, I had to run and find an ATM at like the last minute, pay a stupid ATM fee to get 20, and then try to break that into 10. It was a whole pain in the ass. So I think that's good. The fact that it's now debit or credit card exclusive. We are proud to be bringing our passion for reliable transportation to the Windsor-Detroit corridor with the brand new tunnel bus service. Backed by years of experience in logistics and ground transportation, our team understands what it takes to get you across the border safely, comfortably, and on time. Here to make the ride simple. I'm seeing the bus now. It's got the Canadian American flags on it. It's wheelchair accessible, based on what I'm seeing. No stairs going up, so I'm assuming it's wheelchair accessible. They did, but that's why I'm saying they're bringing in a new service. It's privately owned. It's not owned by City of Windsor anymore. Now it's a private service called The Link. Apparently, according to CTV News, it will be coming next week. So the week of the 22nd. Cost will be $15. You have to pay for one way per person. You pay with debit or credit card, no cash. And it starts at the Windsor International Transit Terminal, goes through to Rosa Parks. And it's the same schedule as was operated on under Windsor Transit. So any Masons who are like me, reliant on public transit, if you were in Windsor and thought you might not be able to visit your brethren in the States anymore, don't worry, you still can. And honestly, the Detroit Masonic Temple is so close to downtown. I've wheeled many times from the Detroit Masonic Temple to Rosa Parks Transit Center without issue. So I hope that you guys will take advantage of it. And thank you. It's wonderful, the Link bus, to have cross-border transportation return. It's called the LINQ Tunnel Bus. The other thing I want to mention about... So for customs, you, at least unless anything's changing, but I don't see why it would. The way it always worked before was you cross into America, you get to the Customs and Enforcement Agency. The bus parks in kind of an out-of-the-way spot. You get off the bus, you go through customs, and you go through customs, and then you get back on the bus. And so obviously, you know, whatever the service is, new service, old service, you still want to make sure that you are, what's the word I'm looking for? You still want to make sure that you have your passport with you, whatever documentation is necessary. You need to have that with you. If vaccines are necessary, if visas are necessary, and that's not just true for Canada, US, that's just true for travel in general. It's still your responsibility to have the documentation you need to cross the border safely. You can't just rely exclusively on, Link to remind you. Yes, check your email again, Smokey. No worries at all, but thank you for being here. The other thing I want to mention, I've talked about this before as well. Again, I consider myself in some ways a professional traveler. It's something I'm very proud of, being a professional traveler. As a Freemason, it's kind of my responsibility to travel. A big part of that is the reason I'm able to do that, I should say, is thanks to everybody who makes travel possible, from obviously the bus drivers and the train conductors to the airline pilots that kind of transport or pilot these different types of transportation, to the flight attendants, to the maintenance crews, to everybody who works in the bus stations or in the airports, to the custodians. I don't have no interest in being in an airport that's filthy or unsafe, right? Everybody um, plays a role in making sure that I'm able to travel and see my brothers all around the world. I mean, let me tell you, Mr. Keeps, I have all of my stuff optimized. I'm one of those people now. I get frustrated and annoyed if I'm waiting in line to cross into customs and somebody in front of me doesn't know what they're doing or forgets to take their laptop out or whatever it is. Like, believe me, I know how to pack just enough that I get the free personal item. I've got all that stuff down to a science, and I'm very proud of the fact that I have all of that stuff down to a science. So, just keep that in mind. I know what I'm doing. Um, but that's right, Mr. Keeps, you and I know what we're doing. The reason I'm bringing this up is there's currently, and as somebody who travels all the time, I do want to give my support for these people. Uh, there's recently been a probe by the government of Canada regarding unpaid work in the airline sector. I understand this is primarily related to flight attendants and flight crew, which is smart. Yes, yes. And also, if you're traveling for, let's say, 2 to 3 weeks, um, you have two choices. You can pack everything that you'll need for 2 to 3 weeks, or you can pack 1 week's worth of items and then just find a laundromat to do your washing, so you're not packing this giant thing that's a pain. Or you can, throw the stuff out and buy new stuff. A lot of gas stations now will sell t-shirts and sometimes even underwear and stuff for really cheap, like $20 basically, and you get a whole new outfit, and it's cheaper than how much it costs you sometimes if you pack over, and or you have to check something, or there's checked baggage fees. But laundromats or buying new sometimes is the move, right? So from September 15th, 2 days ago, this is from Gatineau, Quebec, flight attendants play a critical role in keeping Canadian passengers and airline crews safe as they travel. They deserve to be compensated for the work they do. Yes, I did not know that about merino wool, but that's cool to know. And that's good advice. The Canadian Labour Code explicitly states that federally regulated employees must be paid an amount that is equal to or greater than the minimum wage. The Government of Canada has been made aware of allegations regarding unpaid work and unfair work conditions in the airline sector. On August 18th, 2025, the Honorable Minister Patty Hadju, Minister of Jobs and Families and Minister responsible for federal economic development, launched a probe on unpaid work in the airline sector. Today, we're announcing the next phase of this probe and providing Canadians with an update on the steps ahead. Stakeholder outreach. The government has reached out to targeted stakeholders in the airline sector, including employers and employees, to participate in virtual consultations, discussion guide, roundtable on probe on unpaid work in the airline sector. The government will hold virtual roundtables with targeted stakeholders on September 23rd and 24th and October 2nd and 3rd in each official language. I'm going to be checking that out. I'm going to see if I can watch those because I'm curious. Feedback submission deadline. You need to provide feedback by October 17th. The government will publish a What We Heard report as soon as possible, and determine appropriate action based on final reports. So, allegations of unpaid work are serious. That is why we're launching this probe, and we are hearing from employer and employee representatives in the airline sector. So obviously, this is a uniquely Canadian probe. However, I want to say whether I have been traveling on Canadian airlines like Flair, whether I travel or Air Canada or WestJet or Porter, or whether I'm flying internationally and using, let's say, Spirit or Emirates, whatever it is, I've been incredibly lucky with the airline crews. And I mean, this is also true for bus drivers and trains and Amtrak and Via, but this is specifically about the airline. I've been really lucky with all of the people who've helped make my travel possible, right? Not just in terms of, like, for example, they'll make sure that my wheelchair, I don't need to check my wheelchair in advance and use airport wheelchairs, which are a pain. I can take my wheelchair right to the gate, and then the flight crew will pick it up for me and put it in luggage, and then when the plane lands, they'll be kind enough to get it for me and bring it back to the door, so I'm not relying on another wheelchair. There's been a few times where I've needed, for example, my recent trip to Brazil, I realized I needed to have a printed copy of my visa. I couldn't just rely on the one on my phone, and they actually printed it out for me on the airplane. The flight attendants helped me with that, right? Obviously, serving food, serving drinks. Everybody kind of understands that if you are a flight attendant, you have your first aid training, you have your emergency training. You know what to do if you've ever been faced with, you're a first responder. You might be, with the exception of maybe prison guards or correctional officers, you might actually be the closest to a first responder that there is, right? If somebody's having a heart attack, you are as right there as you can be to respond to it. And so again, you don't think about it all the time, but I've been on planes where people have had medical emergencies, and you can't help but think to yourself, like, thank heavens we have flight attendants and flight crews that are trained. So I really want to give my kind of a moment to both shout out and say thank you, in this case in particular, to flight attendants and flight crews for all the work that they do. And also, it is my hope that any unpaid work that they're being asked to do is no longer, that stops being the case, and that they are fairly compensated. Because I could not do what I do. I would not have the memories I have. I would not have met the people I've met. I would not have a good portion of all of these pins and the coins and everything else were it not for all of the staff that make travel both possible, but possible in a safe way and possible in a comfortable way. So I'm going to try to pay attention to what's happening on September 23rd and see if I can watch that, because I'm curious to know what kind of the outcomes will be. Ultimately, the better, I mean, this is true for everybody, but the better my flight attendants are treated, the better flight crew is treated, the better pilots are treated, the better maintenance crew are treated, the better staff in an airport are treated, the better I'm going to have an experience as a passenger. Right, I don't take that for granted. And I want to mention that, and I'll try to pay attention to it and try to report back on it as I go. So Mr. Keeps, Dream Seeker, I'm gonna answer your question very shortly, I promise. Mr. Keeps, what percentage of temples are wheelchair accessible? That's an interesting question. I don't know off the top of my head. Within my travels, about 60% are wheelchair accessible. All right, a big issue is a lot of these buildings were built in the 1920s. That was the big Masonic boom period. For example, Windsor in the 1920s, Detroit the 1920s, Bay City the 1920s, Norfolk was actually 1950s. But as a consequence of that, they weren't always thinking about wheelchair accessibility at that time. Now, to their credit, Windsor, Detroit both did a lot of work to become accessible over the years, but It's not always the case. So um, I'd say about 60%, but that's been in my experience. I've done a few polls. I may do another one about that actually. Um, right, as Dad says the same thing. Um, in terms of dream seekers question, that's such a hard question to answer because, again, as you say, what are you basing it on, right? Like, my most enjoyable destination would be either Chicago or Glenview, Illinois, because it's the place I've returned to the most. It feels like a second home to me. It feels like a second, um, it feels like a second home. It feels like a second, um, I don't know what to call it. Like it just feels like a second home. Not even a second home. It feels like a home to me. And every time I travel there, I always feel like I'm a place that I love. I love the Masonic Brothers there. I love the buildings there, the Masonic buildings and otherwise. I love the memories I have there. I love creating new memories there. But honestly, that doesn't feel like a destination in the sense of travel anymore. It almost just feels like if you had a cottage or like a summer home, right? Like you go or whatever. It's a place you spend your weekends. Um, it's so hard because I've loved everywhere I've been to. I loved traveling to um oh my gosh. I mean, I loved so the most enjoyable meal I ever had was in Brazil. It was incredible. Um um the most beautiful architecture, maybe Philadelphia Masonic Temple. Um oh my gosh, the most enjoyable Masonic memory might be the barn raising, where I heard the rain hitting a tin roof as someone was getting their third degree. Um, the like see, there's so many. Going to Los Angeles and both getting a chance to see where one of my favorite, actually where my favorite movie was shot, getting to see filming locations from my favorite movie on Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. I saw the fountain. I saw a lot of stuff that was like famous for being from A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, and I loved that. To seeing the Village Studios, which is a old school Masonic temple from the 20s, another 1920s building that was turned into a recording studio. Um, And there's a bunch of other ones that maybe the most beautiful scenery and views I ever saw was when I flew to Arizona. I was in Phoenix, and we went from Phoenix, Arizona to Nogales, Arizona, and then Nogales, Mexico. But the drive from Phoenix to Nogales, the scenery was beyond incredible. Like the Arizona desert, the Arizona sky was absolutely beautiful. Maybe my favorite airport too is actually, well, my favorite airport is Detroit or Winnipeg, but the Phoenix airport was really nice as well. Um, so there's that. So yeah, I don't know if I can even say. I guess technically, I would say. Um, technically, I would say. Chicago and Glenview, but there's been a lot that I've been very lucky to take part in over the years. I mean, going to the Philippines was, I mean, nothing really particularly stands out to me in the sense that it was a very relatively short trip, but just to travel as far as I did, uh, and to be looking out and seeing the world of Manila, that was pretty special. That felt really, really cool. So there is that as well. And just such a, another memory I've mentioned before is, and one thing that always sticks with me is on this most recent trip. So I flew from Manila in the Philippines to uh, Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, and there was a stopover in Dubai. And the cool thing that Emirates does is they give you a layover for free in Dubai. They give you a hotel where you can stay at during your layover, which is really nice of them. And they actually gave me a hotel that was right in the airport, which I really appreciated. I thought was really awesome. Um, and so, anyways, I'm in the hotel. I look up and I see an arrow, and I realize it was an arrow that was pointing towards Mecca, which is on the roof or on the ceiling of every hotel room in this airport. Obviously, for those who are Muslim who are praying, they need to pray towards Mecca. And the fact that I saw that, it was a reminder to me of like, yeah, I'm in a new place. I'm in somewhere I've never been before. And it was a really special feeling. And again, the reason I got to be in that place, the reason I got to be on these trips, the reason I got to meet my Masonic brethren, um, is because of the pilots, the mechanics, the airline workers, the flight attendants, everybody who, as well as on the hotel side of it, right? All the hospitality workers who work in the hotels who make that possible. And because of that reason, um, I do want to mention their plight currently, and that I will be kind of checking in on the probe. Ultimately, it's in my best interests that they are treated well, because if they're treated well, it means my travel is more likely to be more smooth, more safe, to be smoother, to have increased safety, increased professionalism, and to get where I need to go on time and with as few hassles as possible. I don't want an overworked, underpaid flight attendant on my taking care of me while I'm traveling. I would love to spend a couple of years working and living in Dubai as well. Well, there's one Mason in Dubai. It was a stopover. To my knowledge, there is no Masonic Lodge in Dubai except on a military base there. I talked earlier about how Freemasonry expanded through military bases, which is the case. The most common, that was one of the common ways it expanded, certainly in the 17th and 18th century. When and the idea of Freemasonry still expanding through military bases is still a thing in the Middle East. Qatar and Dubai, I think, are two examples where you have military bases which house Masonic lodges. I believe they're actually Prince Hall lodges, if I'm not mistaken. And I could very, very well be mistaken. Masons in Dubai. So at least there was one Mason in Dubai named Cameron Adamson, and was proud of. It's funny. I'm a member. I've talked about this. I'm not. This is not meant as a support of the government of Israel, which I have a lot of problems with at the moment. But I am a member of a Masonic lodge in Israel, and proud of it. Lodge Holy Land number 50. And I was debating because I knew I was going to be traveling through the Middle East. Obviously, at the time there were some tensions. In fact, when I landed in Dubai is the same day that, if I recall correctly, Israel and America had launched operations in Iran. So tensions felt a little bit higher, and I had my Israeli Masonic Lodge dues card on me, which I always keep with me. I remember thinking to myself, like, was it the best idea to bring this thing with me? However, it never came up. No one, I never got searched. Customs officials were awesome. Staff was awesome. It never became an issue. Well, you were actually working, right? You were working to get the ship where it needed to go. I'm just one of those people who just takes advantage of the hard work of others and sits there and enjoys my trip. Um, so yeah. So I will be keeping up. I will be trying to see if I can watch the September 23rd roundtable and maybe even report on it a little bit. The other thing I wanted to mention very quickly, very briefly, is official visits because I have one coming up in 2 weeks, October 1st. An official visit it goes by different terms, I think, in different jurisdictions. I'm going to speak of my experience specifically in Ontario. But an official visit is is a required meeting. It's where your district government or governance or leadership, which is called the District Deputy Grand Master, visits your Masonic Lodge. And he can visit it many times throughout the year. That's perfectly fine. However, he has to visit it at least once, and it has to be announced as an official visit. And basically, it's him examining how the lodge is functioning, and reporting to his leadership, the province leadership, how the lodge is functioning. And he bases that on two things: how proficient the lodge is in its ritual, and how proficient the lodge is in its business or administration. Does the master know how to organize minutes? Does the master know how to organize correspondence? Does the master know how to run a meeting successfully? It's also an opportunity for the lodge to show off a little bit, to provide some education, to provide some it could be education, it could be a presentation, it could be any number of things. It could be some type of ritual that maybe lodges are not regularly doing. There's so many different things it could be that the lodges are doing. So, to me, the most important thing there is just remembering, to a worship master or lodge that's looking at an official visit, use it as an opportunity to be creative. Use it as an opportunity to think outside the box a little bit. Believe me, the district deputy grand master, so in our district, we have 13 Masonic lodges. Believe me, the district deputy grand master, if you're the first official visit, maybe you'll be okay. If you're the 13th official visit, he's seen, this type of thing 13 times. He's going to respond probably to something that's out of the box and interesting, more so than otherwise. So I guess what I'd say there is my advice is try to keep things interesting. Get your paperwork done. Get your paperwork done ASAP. It's important that it not be left. And don't treat both the ritual and the administration as equally important. One mistake I've seen a lot of lodges make in an official visit is they tend to focus either more heavily on ritual work or more on administration. You can have a perfect opening and a perfect closing, but if you don't know how to run a successful administrative meeting, if you don't know how to have motions be heard, if you don't know how to properly organize your minutes and your correspondence, you are going to struggle. And that's going to be reflected. So you need to keep that in mind. It absolutely goes to show that everyone needs others to travel on life's journey. That's what we talked about with the long walk as well. So think outside the box. Don't allow yourself to get too focused on either exclusively administration or exclusively ritual. Both your administrative work and your ritual work needs to be on point. Make sure the paperwork that you need to get done gets done early, and send a copy of it by email as well as have a printed copy. I've seen very often what lodges will do is, because before you have the visitor come, you have to do some paperwork. I've seen very often Masonic lodges either just bring printed copies but not email in advance to the people who need it, or just email and not bring printed copies. Right? The danger of doing it that way is there are some, it's actually district secretaries, who check on behalf of the DDGM, the District Deputy Grand Master. They may prefer, especially if they're younger, they may prefer to have all of their work done by email. And if they are not receiving the paperwork through email, they may report they didn't get it, even if you have paperwork with you there at the time. By the same token, there are some older district deputies who may never check paperwork. Who may never check their email. And you need to have paper copies ready to show to them if they need to see it. So, belt and suspenders, email, and hard copies, both of which are equally important and equally necessary. And so I guess that would be my advice for official visits. Very quickly, think outside the box, focus on your ritual and your administration. Both send the necessary complete the paperwork on time, and send it both electronically and with physical, have a physical copy on hand as well. And I hope that that made sense. And with that, we're back to just hanging out, and we'll see who wants to join and what you guys want to chat about. But I think everyone does need everyone on this life's journey. Welcome back, Pennywise. How's it going? Are you going to be joining me for my 24-hour live stream starting on September 21st at 2 p.m.? We're kind of finished our main discussion points. Now we're just here hanging out, waiting to see who wants to join. We'll give it a bit of time, no rush. Goodbye, Dad. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed the stream as always. Right now, we're just going to give it a bit more time to see who joins. I'll probably end this stream relatively early, a couple hours in. I will be back on 1 a.m. tonight, and hopefully to see some people there. As always, it's fun seeing the different audience members as they come in, as they come at different times of the day or night. But for now, give it a bit of time. Let's see who joins. No worries, Rondo. How's it going? We're kind of done our main topics, but we're just hanging out. Don't forget, though, what we have coming up this weekend, a big stream on the Friday, starting 8 a.m., going to 8 p.m., a big stream on Saturday, and a big stream on Sunday. All is well. How is it with you? I'm glad things are going well. I know I'm doing well as well. It's been good. Like I said, I'm mostly looking forward to what's coming up this week. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a lot of fun. Two things. So travel, some news regarding travel. Here in Windsor, they are bringing back it's called the tunnel bus. Basically, it was public transportation between Windsor and Detroit, a lot cheaper than other, than taking a taxi or whatever it is. We lost our initial tunnel bus, but they're bringing it back. So we talked about that and why, as a Freemason in a border town, I love the opportunity to travel uh, to see my brethren in Detroit. We talked about a recent probe on unpaid labor in the airline industry and why, as someone who relies on uh, travel employees, whether they be airline or otherwise, information about that, and why I'm rooting for it makes nothing but sense for me to root for airline staff and airline workers to be as well paid and rested as possible so that my flights and my travel can be as on time, as safe, and as comfortable as possible. And then we talked a little bit about official visits and some general advice on how to make them a success. So that was today's topics. Steve, hello, Steve. How's it going? I hope you're doing well. As always, please hit that like and subscribe button. I would truly appreciate it. Interesting enough, with how far you travel for Masonic events or non-Masonic events, city 44%, province 11%, country 22%, overseas 22%. And right now, we're just waiting to see who's going to join and if they want to chat about anything when it comes to Freemasonry. Any thoughts they have, positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to hear it. I'm just waiting to see if anyone else jumps in the chat to say hello. There's no rush, but I figure I'll stick around for a bit longer. We're here to chat about Freemasonry. I already gave my main topics. Now it's just hanging out and talking, so. And by the way, the Fed cut interest rates for the first time this year. So I'll probably talk about that tomorrow a little bit once I learn more about it. This was 32 minutes ago. Let's see what it said. Federal Reserve cuts interest rates for the first time this year. The decision comes as the Fed faces unprecedented political pressure as well as weakening labor market. The Federal Reserve on Wednesday announced a highly anticipated interest rate cut, a move indicating that concerns about a slowing labor market now outweigh ongoing worries about inflation, 4% to 4.25, or from 4.25. The labor market is really cooling off, Fed Chair Jerome Powell said in a news conference Wednesday following the rate cut announcement. I mean, sure, when you say local lodge, you mean the Windsor Masonic Temple, or do you mean like what is the. Because sure, I mean, I've done some of those in the past, right? I've done some of those in the past, tours of the Windsor Masonic Temple, but I'd love to do another one. But that would be a lot of fun. We're just hanging out, waiting to see who else joins. That's a good idea, Dream Seeker. I mean, I love showing off the Windsor Masonic Temple. It is the most incredible building, in my opinion, the coolest building in Windsor. And welcome to everybody who is just joining us. Please take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know how it's going. If there's anything you want to talk about on the stream, positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to hear it. I would agree. Well, let's talk. I mean, get in touch with me through email, right? The best email is info@squareandcompass.ca. Shoot me off an email. That's, by the way, the best contact information for me. Anybody wants to be on my email list, and we'll go from there. We're just waiting to see who else jumps in. But I mean, I hope that this podcast, if nothing else, helps with that as well. Dream Seeker helps people, or helps, I guess, alleviate some people's misconceptions. So absolutely, Dream Seeker, shoot me off an email and we'll figure out what we can do. No promises right now because I don't even know what my schedule is at the moment. I have a lot of things happening, but also don't forget there's coffee club. There's a lot of cool things happening at the Masonic Temple. There's a lot of plays taking place. It's just a really good time for certainly the Windsor Masonic Temple ballroom. There's a lot of exciting things happening there, which also helps alleviate misconceptions, right, of Freemasonry by having events happening within our ballrooms. But no, shoot me off an email. That is true. I do have a bad habit of not responding to emails. I'm very sorry about that, Mr. Keeps. I know you sent me a couple. Uh, but hopefully I was relying on you checking my socials, which I should not do in fairness. Um, I've sadly never toured UGLE Rondo. I really want to. I was in London ages ago, and I went from London to Northern England to visit my pops. But or not visit my pops' family, I should say. I wish, looking back, I had stopped in. I wish I had stopped um, at UGLE. Believe me, it's on my list of things I want to do. So hopefully, I get the chance soon. Because, like I said, it's relatively speaking, it's not crazy expensive. I don't think to fly to London, um, and so it would be on my list, right? I would also love to check out the Goose and Gridiron while I was there. I think that would be really incredible. Oh, I'm sure they are. Actually, it's interesting the video me and Igor watched, or Igor and I, um, if any grammar teachers around here, Igor and I watched was filmed at the United Grand Lodge of England. It was really beautiful. So no, I don't disagree, and I'd love to. There's a lot. I mean, my people sometimes ask me like, what is the one place I'd like to visit I've not visited yet? That's tough because there's so many incredible ones out there. Um, like it's so many incredible places and temples. The fact that I've not had the chance to do so yet drives me craziest. Yes, we were Rondo. We were the sexiest Canadians on the internet. And when you consider the fact that Ryan Gosling is on the internet and we still defeat him, or Deadpool, what's his name, Ryan Reynolds, that we're still doing better than they are. Take that, you know. I mean, it's on my list. I really want to get to. Like I said, I wish the last time I visited it, visited London, I actually stopped and just took a little bit of time, but I didn't. So that's my screw up. To my knowledge, he is. I could be mistaken, but I'm nearly positive he's Canadian. Someone should look that up. But I'm nearly positive. I'm correct. But I'm going with what Rondo said. We are, Igor and I were the sexiest Canadians on the internet. So take that. Ryan Reynolds and what are some other Canadians? I'm trying to think now who've been on the internet who are known for being attractive fellas. Again, not as attractive as us, just for the record. We're going to give it a bit more time. We're just going to see who else joins, as always. Hey, what's wrong with Bieber? For the record, I think Justin Bieber has some great music, and I'm sticking to that. I'm not changing my mind about that. I think Justin Bieber has some great music. Yes, when I think of Manly P. Hall, I think of attractive fellas. That's the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of Manly P. Hall. It's attractive fellows. That's what he was known for. I've actually never seen a picture of Manly P. Hall. Maybe he was an attractive fella. Maybe he was the Ryan Reynolds or the Gosling of his time. Just waiting to see if anybody else wants to join. No rush. And let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral. I'd love to hear them. I believe he is, yes. I believe he lives in BC, actually. So, but it's still Igor and I. I mean, I don't want to upset John Wick, in fairness. Like, that seems terrifying. So, I don't want to do that by any means. However, I will still say I think that I am better looking than Keanu Reeves. So, deal with that, John Wick. We're going to give it what? Another, let's say 5, 10 minutes. Let's just see if anybody else jumps on. I mean, that should be my next poll question. Here, that is going to be our next poll question. Just to try something different. All right, people, here's your chance to vote. I think we all know what the answer is, but nonetheless, we'll give it. We'll just make it official. We'll prove it. See, we got 100% for Cameron. So there you go. It's been proven. And now nobody can vote anything else, just for the record. No, no, we're sticking. You ought to stick with the choices we've got so far, just for the record. What's the mistake? I mean, did I spell something incorrect? Well, I can't put all of us on there. So you're gonna have to stick with the four of us. All right, I can't just add everybody on there willy nilly. Like I don't know what you want from me. Yeah, I mean, he was kind of ahead of that curve, for better or worse. Hello, Marcus Edim. I can't pronounce that. I'm very sorry, but I hope you're doing well. I hope you hit the like and subscribe button. We're just hanging out, chatting about Freemasonry. Used to be, well, now we're just talking about anything. Right now we're talking about who's better looking. But we were talking about Freemasonry, travel, the importance of travel, the importance of caring about the people who allow us to travel, as well as official visits, some general ideas on it, such as think outside the box, focus on both the ritual and the administration, make sure that you both send the paperwork you need to send by email and have printed copies available, and keep a record of when you sent the paperwork by email. Make sure your actually Grand Lodge list is up to date. That's something a lot of people forget, including I've forgotten it in the past. You need to make sure that your list of which Grand Lodges are recognized is up to date. And yeah, now we're just chatting. I'm well, Marcus. How's it going for you? I hope you're doing well. I think you're new to the stream, right? If you'll hit the like and subscribe button, I'd appreciate it. If you're not new to the stream, then welcome. I hope you're doing well. Let me know how it's going, if there's anything you want to talk about. I'm just hanging out, chatting. All right, I'm going to, I think, end this stream. Thank you so much, everybody who has joined. I will be back on 1 a.m. And then, yeah, don't forget about everything we have coming up. It's going to be a blast. All right, talk to you guys later.